teaching everyone here, how you warm up and a lot about your creative process and some of the writing exercises that you do.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit more about, personally, your creative process when you're working and preparing a speech and getting on its feet? And I mean, his office looks like the Unabomber, if you've ever seen it. So
Yeah.
there's writing everywhere. But if you just want to share a little bit.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you've been in my office.
For your half days?
Yeah, for your half days.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so you know what it looks like, right? I mean, you can kind of see my creative process on the walls. The walls are covered with big, giant pieces of paper. I mean, the whole place, right? And then Dawn tried to make some of the office like a living area, like with furniture and whatnot, nonsense. And she said I couldn't put stuff on those walls over there. So every time she comes around, we got to take the stuff off the walls and have pictures up and stuff. But my creative process is to really get this, us artists, all of you, have all this TNT inside of us. And that's the appropriate word. It's TNT. It's very explosive. It can be used for bad, and it can be used for greatness. And unless you can communicate and express that TNT, you're going to turn against yourself. You're going to hurt somebody and probably yourself if you can't express it, if you can't get it out. And in football and in sports, it was very easy, right, to get the TNT out of me and put it onto other players. You got rewarded for doing that. You got paid a lot of money the more TNT you had in your body and were willing to put it on other people, the more you got paid and the better you were. Well, when I entered the civilian world, I found out very quickly that didn't translate very well, right? The things that I did best were illegal. And so as I started to learn to get on stage and learn to write and express myself, I would put it up on the walls and just write how pissed off I am and what I'm mad about and what I'm upset about. And I just write all this stuff on the walls all over my office. And over the months and the year those papers will stay up there, I just am in my office and I'm just looking at what I've written over the last year and I'm starting to memorize it. I'm starting to internalize it. And I'll be on stage a year from now and one of those pearls, one of those sentences will come out of my mouth. I have always memorized by putting stuff up on walls and then let it become a part of my molecules, the words, so that I didn't have to remember what to say. My body would know. That's how I operate. And look, if I didn't have art, if I didn't have you showing up on this weekend, I don't know what would happen to me. If I didn't have a vehicle to express myself, I wonder where I'd be. And I know a lot of you must feel that same way. If you can't find the vehicle to express the TNT that is inside this body and the frustration that it feels in a world that won't allow you to communicate or at least poo-poos it all the time, you become very valuable to this world if you can express it. So my process is always to keep myself healthy through expression, whether it's writing, speaking, performing, dancing. It's all pure ass expression. And if I can't do that, I'm in trouble. It's a warrior without a war. You take a warrior who's trained to be a warrior his whole life, and he becomes one of the top warriors in the world, and then you take the war away from him or her. And you say, no, you don't get to do that anymore. That's when trouble begins. Unless you can redirect that TNT into the next occupation by being able to express it. That, I think, that's my artistic expression. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of times with rehearsals, I think people try to think they have to carve out special rehearsal time, and at home we're always laughing because we're like, what'd you say, sweetie? What do you need? And he's like, oh, no, I'm just rehearsing. So he's washing the dishes or going around the house.
Don't tell people I wash dishes.
He does. I cook, he washes dishes. But it's, he's always, like he said, he's getting it in his body. So it's if you have a line that in your story, whether it's your one true sentence or your closing line or when you're transitioning to make an offer, he needs to say that over and over and over and over again to get it inside his body. So I encourage you guys, a lot of times he'll do it on the track, or you'll go for a walk, or, but he's just doing it all the time. So I think that's a really good thing to take away.
All
and
the time
apply.
rehearsing, saying the very lines, the one true sentences that you guys are doing. I'm like working on those all the time. Just getting them out so that they're here, instead of me having to go, what is my line? It's hard for me to do that. I'm not good at that, memorizing here. I'm good at internalizing here and then letting them just come out. And that's really once you get to this level of mastery, you do it long enough, that's when speaking becomes really fun. Now, it's fun before that, and it's lucrative before that, but once you get there where you've had that kind of experience, boy, it's fun. Because now it's just play. All you do is play up here. And pearls come out of your mouth. You don't even know it. Bam, they come out. And that gives you a chance to connect to the audience instead of worrying about what you're going to say.